Freezing vegetables. My name is Marnie McCracken. I work as a farm production extension specialist for Manitoba Agriculture and Resource Development out of the office in the Pas, Manitoba. There are many advantages to freezing vegetables. It's quick and easy. It's a way to store surplus vegetables, whether from the garden or from sales. Freezing keeps the color and flavor, although freezing will not make poor vegetables taste better. It retains food value and is similar to fresh. And it allows for a variety of food all year long. Any foods that you see in the store that are frozen are likely vegetables that you can freeze at home. Steps to freezing vegetables. You prepare the vegetables by washing, scrubbing, chopping, and so on. Boil a large pot of water. You add those prepared vegetables in batches to that pot of boiling water. Once the water returns to a boil, cook for 1 to 3 minutes. The vegetables won't be fully cooked. This is called blanching. Cool the vegetables in ice water and drain them well. And after that, you pack them, and there are 2 ways that you can do this. One is called a dry pack, where you take those vegetables and put them directly into freezer bags or containers. And another is called a tray pack or loose pack. And this is where you freeze the vegetables on a tray first before putting them into the bags. And I'll show both methods in this upcoming slides. You label the package with the date and the contents, and then freeze and store those vegetables at -18 or lower. Most vegetables maintain high quality for 8 to 12 months. Longer storage will not make the food unfit for use, but it may impair quality. Let's demonstrate the steps using green beans. Prepare the beans by removing the ends and chopping or leaving them whole. Heat a large pot of water to boiling and add the beans. Use a spoon so the hot water doesn't burn you. Don't overfill the pot. Blanch the beans in batches. Cook chopped beans in boiling water for 2 minutes. Fill a large bowl with ice water and a colander. You can also use a clean sink or run the vegetables under cold water. When blanching time is complete, use a slotted spoon to remove the veggies from the boiling water and plunge them into the ice water bath. Leave them in the cold water for approximately the same amount of time as you used for blanching. Once cooled, drain, remove as much water as possible, and pack into meal-sized freezer bags or containers. Demonstrated is the dry pack method. Label the package and freeze. There's a slide towards the end of the video that lists the preparation and blanching times for various vegetables. You can pause the video at that point and note those times and information. Broccoli. Wash, cut florets into the size of choice, peel and trim the stems. Blanch medium-sized florets for 3 minutes. Blanch large-sized florets for 4 minutes. The broccoli in the video is being packaged using the tray pack or loose pack method. The broccoli is spread on a pan and then put into the freezer. Once frozen, the broccoli is then packaged into containers or bags. This method adds an extra step to the process, but it uses fewer bags or containers, and the tray packed vegetables do not freeze in a block but remain loose, so the amount needed can be removed and the package resealed and placed back in the freezer. For carrots, remove the tops and peel. Leave small carrots whole, cut into half-inch slices or dice or cut lengthwise into fingers. Just try to keep the size consistent so they all cook the same amount of time. Blanch cut carrots for 3 minutes. Blanch whole carrots for 5 minutes. The loose pack method is being demonstrated. And if the carrots are frozen together a little bit, you can just loosen them and pack them into the bag. For celery, wash, dice, or cut in half-inch pieces. Blanch for 3 minutes. Freezing is handy for your celery because maybe it's all ready at once in your garden, or maybe you have too much in your fridge and you won't be able to use it before it gets bad. And so you can go ahead and blanch it and freeze it. These bags represent 2 bunches of celery, so that's quite a bit of celery. Onions. You can freeze all kinds of onions. Green onions, yellow onions, purple, etc. Peel onions and cut into the desired size. Freeze raw. The onions can be frozen raw. Double bag to prevent odor from affecting other freezer foods, as is shown on the screen. Peas, regular peas. Shell the peas and blanch for 2 minutes. For edible pods, remove the stem and blossom ends and leave them whole. Blanch for 3 minutes. For potatoes, there are various methods for freezing potatoes. It just depends on what you want to use them for. The video is demonstrating the oven method, which is handy for preparing a large quantity all at once. Clean and scrub the potatoes, arrange potatoes on a tray and poke with a fork. Bake in a preheated 350-degree oven for 30 to 45 minutes, just until fork tender. Don't overcook them. It's easiest to peel the potatoes while still slightly warm, but cool enough to handle. Once peeled, cool the potatoes completely in the refrigerator for at least 4 hours or overnight. This will make them easier to shred or dice. Dice or shred the cooled potatoes. Use a box grater, food processor, or other method. You can also blanch potatoes on the stovetop for 3 to 5 minutes or fully cook them until tender, mash or dice, etc., and then freeze. These potatoes were frozen using the loose pack method and packaged into bags for use later. Rutabaga. Wash, peel, and cube the rutabaga. Blanch for 2 minutes. Cool, drain, package, and freeze. You can also fully cook the rutabaga until tender and mash, cube, etc., package, and freeze. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are actually a fruit, but because they grow in the garden, we're going to cover the various ways to freeze them in this video. You can just wash the tomatoes, cut out the stem end and blemishes, package and freeze them raw. Another method is to remove the skins before freezing. Dip batches of 4 to 6 tomatoes in boiling water for 30 to 60 seconds. This loosens the skins so they just slide off. This same technique works well for peeling peaches. Leave the tomatoes whole or cut in pieces and either freeze them raw or cook until tender, which takes about 10 to 20 minutes, and then package and freeze. You can see the tomatoes being peeled in the video. You can also pulse the tomatoes in a food processor, which chops the skins. Then you can freeze them or cook them for that 10 to 20 minutes if desired. Tips for freezing vegetables. Press the air out of bags before sealing and store the bags flat. They thaw quicker and are easier to store in the freezer. So press them down flat. Label bags before filling. It's just easier to write on a flat surface. Loose pack or freezing on trays does add an extra step, but it uses less packaging and the amount needed can be removed from the package and then the package resealed. Keep your water from blanching for a soup base or freeze it for later. Freeze a variety of vegetables so you have a supply year-round. Just about any vegetable that you notice in the store that you can purchase is a vegetable that you can freeze at home. Here's that table I referenced earlier, which lists all the blanching and cooking times for various vegetables. You can pause here if you need to note information for freezing your vegetables. There are additional resources available that are specific to gardening and food preparation and preservation in northern Manitoba, and those can be found on the Government of Manitoba website under the Indigenous and Northern Relations webpage. So you can see a list there of all the resources that are available. We also have the videos are also saved on Manitoba Agriculture's YouTube channel. We have a Northern Gardening playlist on that YouTube channel, and all the videos can be accessed there.